What's going on, guys? Thought I'd hop on here and show you guys how I tote around my tackle and keep everything organized on these creek fishing trips for anybody that cares to know, and also show you my creek fishing setup that I've been using for the past couple of weeks now, and it's been absolutely amazing. So let's get right into it. So to start things off, this is a fly fishing bag from Bass Pro Shops. My wife actually got it for me for Father's Day several years ago now, and it's not been utilized up until recently when it's really just sat around. Overall, it's a really nice bag. I mean, some of these pockets on here, you kind of find yourself wondering what the thought process was behind these pockets. Like this one in particular, it's like you got this little zipper, but the pouch goes like the full length of the bag. So it's like, okay, you put something in there, you have to turn the bag upside down to get anything out of it. But you have this pocket, which sometimes I'll keep a spool of my leader line in here, sometimes I won't, but these basically always just stay in here, these little Rapala pliers, which I love these things. And I think they will rust, but I keep them oiled up with some of my knife oil that I use. So, I am kind of a knife nerd, a knife enthusiast, so I do have some things and some it's actually gun cleaning oil. I'll put it down in the description. I can't remember what it's called right now, but after if they get wet or anything, I'll get them out and clean them up with that oil, and it keeps them from rusting up, keeps them functioning properly, keeps them nice. But for the most part, those stay in there unless I'm using them a lot. Then I'll use this little clip and actually clip them on my pants. So to start things off in this front pouch here, which is where things start getting really interesting, this is where I keep all of the soft plastics, and it works pretty well for keeping things organized. It's got a couple of pockets in here, so some of the things that I need easier access to, I'll stick them down in these pockets just to not have to go through and flip through all this other stuff that's in here. Just a little bit easier, quicker access if you can get them down in these pockets. But starting off with some of my favorites is the 2.8 Kitex and the electric shad, and I believe this is sungill is what they call this color. I'll have to look. I cut the tops off of them just to make it easier to fit them into the tackle bags and a little bit easier to store them that way. But just two really natural colors. What can you say? They're fish catching machines. I'll throw these guys on little dirty jigs guppy heads or little underspin, or sometimes I'll throw them on the little micro spinner bait for a little spinner bait trailer. We got some little single tail grubs in here. I actually just recently picked these up for spinnerbait trailers, and they've been working out really well for me. So you got the what is this called? Pumpkin chartreuse. So a little bit muddier water situation. You got something that'll stand out a little better. And then clear water situations, I picked these up. It's called Blue Pearl Salt and Pepper. So clear water, muddy water. You'll start to notice a theme as we're going through here. Let's see what else we got in here. I have not fished these yet, but I picked them up because I really think it's just something I need to tie on and spend some time with. But these little tiny flukes, and this color, let's see what this color is. Where's the color at? I don't see the color on here, unless that's it, bait fish. I don't know, but just another really natural color. It's got some blue flake, some silver flake, black flake. But I thought these guys, I've got some really small little EWG hooks. I thought these guys would be awesome. They probably will be. I just, like I said, need to tie it on and give it a shot. Something else I just picked up is the little bellows gill. And again, I'm not sure on the colors on these, but you know, you got a green pumpkin black flake, kind of a watermelon black flake, and then like a electric shad color over here. So again, you know, a little bit muddier water, a little bit cleaner water. I'm still not sure how I'm going to rig these up and fish them yet. I may have to get some different hooks or something, but I saw them in my local tackle shop, and I just was like, yeah, I've got to pick those up and try those. Those things are gonna smash in the creek. And then we get into all the Z-Man stuff. And a couple of these are in here just because, you know, I like them and I want to try them. And I think they'll catch something, but again, I haven't spent enough time with them. I don't have a lot of confidence in them yet. So like this little Twilight TRD, I love this color, and I really want to go out there and catch some fish on it, but I just haven't been able to, you know, really sit down and invest the time into them because the lack of confidence thing. I'm sure you guys understand that. You know, I'll tie them on, I'll throw it a few times. If I don't get bit pretty quick, then I'm switching back to something I know. And then again, in the Finesse TRD, the Smelt, just a classic unnatural bait fish color. It's a killer right there. And these two, you know, I mean, if the fish are being a little more finicky, you can go to like a TRD, and you know, it's just a little bit less intimidating to the fish, just a little more finessey profile. So I mean, if they're being a little finicky and not wanting to bite, I might go to Finesse TRD over throwing the TRD bugs. The TRD bugs are pretty subtle too. I mean, they look good, but they don't really have a lot of kick or anything. They just kind of are in the water. I've watched them really closely. I mean, they do have some action, but it's not a crazy amount of action in the water. So I mean, they're still pretty subtle. And I've had a lot of luck, especially muddier water, fishing this black and blue TRD bug. It's just one of those confidence baits for me. When I go creek fishing, I got to keep it in a bag. But the Bama bug here, that's also been a killer for me. Just like a green pumpkin, blue flake, got a little like purple laminate in there. Another killer color. And then the mud bug, which is like a dark brown, almost black with a gold flake. Just another really natural color, but a little bit darker. So if you get in the muddier water situation, you know, you can also go to the mud bug and still have a presence in the water. They'll still be able to locate it, but also be a little bit more subtle than going to black and blue. And then if I'm really wanting to get a little more action out of the Ned rigs, then I go to the TRD crawls. And my favorite color in this is the deal. Really, my favorite color out of all the Z-Man Ned rig stuff is the deal, because a lot of our crawfish, if you pull them out down here, this color mimics those crawfish like perfectly. So I got the TRD crawls and the baby goats. So if I need a little more action, I want a little more kick, I'm gonna go to one of these, and both of these are in that color, the deal. And then the classics, got the Nico Helgramite, and this is the natural color. Again, you know, more clear water situation. I mean, this is a fish catching machine. If you're having trouble and can't get bit, you tie on a Helgramite, it's gonna get you some fish. I have been playing with the Yum brand, and I've been catching fish on them, but you know, it's more that plastisol, they don't float. And I really think that having the original Elastec type material, the floating Nico Helgramite, really does help to get you more bites. But if you need to save money, you know, the Yum's a great option, and you know, it does still catch fish, but I feel like I get more bites when I go to the original Nico Helgramite in this floating Elastec type material. And yeah, I mean, that's All there is to say about it, they stand up, where these, you know, if you let them sit, they're going to lay down on the bottom. These guys are going to stand up, and I think that's the biggest difference in getting more bites. So yeah, they're expensive, but they do last a lot longer than these, and you know, they stand up, they float. So I really do think that's a key sometimes to getting more bites. These guys I found at Bass Pro, and I can't remember the brand. Again, I'll try to link all this stuff down in the description, guys, but these are also that Elastec type material, but they are Hellgrammite, and they're quite a bit bigger than the regular Nico Hellgrammites. These are the 3-inch, so these are probably like a 3.5 inch. And I've had pretty good luck fishing these too. What I'll do, if you know I feel like it's costing me bites or something, you know, I'll just trim a couple of these segments off and shorten it up, and they've worked pretty good. But again, my confidence goes to the original Nico Hellgrammite, so that's what winds up getting tied on most of the time. These are really just a backup. Alright, so jumping into the big pouch here. This is just a big open pouch, but again, it does have 2 little pockets in it, and these little pockets are perfect for fitting like a 3500 size or this 3400 size. And what I do with this little 3400 size box is I actually keep the GoPro batteries in here. And basically anything that I feel like needs to stay dry, since this bag isn't waterproof, I'll toss it down in here and give it a little more protection, because you know, you never know. Sometimes you can trip and fall, and next thing you know, your bag's in the water and everything inside of it's wet. So I try to keep the important stuff waterproof. The 3500 size box is my terminal tackle box, and you know, I keep it light. I don't really carry a bunch of stuff. We have some 1/10 ounce or 1/15 ounce black Ned rigs, the EWG style, the Ned locks. That's probably that's my favorite head, the EWG style Ned locks, because I mean, you don't have to worry about getting snagged up as much as if you are throwing just a regular open hook on a Ned head, the regular Ned heads. Then we have the 1/10 ounce and the chartreuse head. I go through a bunch of these guys. I mean, I should probably keep like 5 packs of these on me at a time, because you know, they only come 3 in a pack, I think, and then, you know, they're kind of expensive to buy them. But those Ned locks heads are hands down my favorite heads. Moving over, I have some 1/16 ounce bullet weights, just lead bullet weights. And what I like to do with these, I'll pair these up with these number one EWG hooks. They're Gamakatsu EWG, and makes a really nice little Texas rig, small little Texas rig presentation. So you can take those TRD bugs, and instead of putting them on a Ned head, you can Texas rig them and just give the fish a different presentation. So just trying to keep the options open. And I don't remember what the weight is on these, but I hardly ever tie them on. I just keep them in here in case I do get into a heavy current situation and I want to stay planted. I can tie on these bigger Ned heads and help combat some of that current. Moving over, I think these are Owner Flashy Swimmers, and they just have a single Colorado blade on them. Again, I'll use these with those Kytex or the Rapala Crush City. I got some of those little swim baits. Those little guys are awesome. But, you know, when you need that weedless presentation, you need to, you know, throw back in that brush pile or that lay down. And there you go. You got a underspin, a little underspin, and it's a weedless presentation. You don't have to worry about getting snagged up. These guys here, the little Owner football head, with an EWG hook. I can't remember what exactly they're called. Again, I'll try to link all this down in the description, but I do like to throw these over the Ned heads sometimes. The only problem is I wish I could get them with a little bit shorter hook, because they are quite a bit, the hook shank's quite a bit longer on them. Not that the hook's a heavier line, but the hook shank's a little bit longer. If I could find these in a hook that would match up with the little Ned locks, I probably wouldn't buy the Ned locks anymore. I'm just going to be honest. I would only buy these football style heads from Owner, because they just don't seem to get hung up in the rocks quite as bad as the Ned locks do. They seem to come through the rocks a little bit better. I don't know why that is, but that's been the experience that I've had and what I found using them. But I do still use them with those bigger Helgermites that I showed you that I found at Bass Pro. If I'm throwing those full size, which they're about 3.5 inches, I'll put them on these guys. And yeah, I've had really good luck fishing with those. And you know, just a couple other weights. I think this is 1/8 ounce. This is probably 3/16. And then I have some little finesse shaky heads in here, 1/8 ounce shaky heads, which I haven't used in the creek yet, but I may run into a situation where I want to do that. That's pretty much all I carry for the terminal tackle. And again, you know, I'm still kind of new to creek fishing, still finding other little things and tricks that work. So this is going to grow and change over time, but for now, that's what's been working for me. And then I carry one single 3600 size box in here, and there is some space in here, so you know, there's some room to grow. But right now, these are my staples. These are my main baits. You got the Whopper Plopper 60, and again, in a natural color, something that you know, a little bit less natural with a little chartreuse on the side, white, a little bit muddier water situation, and another muddier water situation. So you got them covered. You know, whatever you run into out there, you can throw the natural or go a little bit less natural with the white and the chartreuse, and then if it's really muddy, you can throw the black. I also found this little guy yet, which I haven't thrown yet. I just bought him, but it's a little booyah. I think it's booyah. It's a bronze eye frog, but it's micro tiny. I'm really anxious to throw this. The only thing I'm concerned about is being able to drive both those hooks in. I may have to get a little bit heavier rod set up to fish him efficiently. And then this is something else I just picked up. Fun fact, I've never thrown a buzzbait before, but this is a Booyah Pond Magic buzzbait, just a little micro finesse buzzbait, and I think it's going to be a killer in the creek. And I have a little baby goat on the back of that for a trailer right now. We're going to try that out. I might switch this over to, say, those little single tail grubs I have. The fish really ain't that picky in the creek, I found. It's just about catching their attention and, you know, getting them to eat. But most of the time, if you catch them on the right day, they're going to eat just about whatever you throw. And then we have the Karashis, and I have fished these a little bit in the creek. I haven't had any success on them yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to throw them, just trying to master the technique and master the action. But yeah, these guys are awesome. I do love throwing them, but again, I haven't had any luck with them yet. But I keep them in there because I'm going to continue to throw them and try to get better at using them until, you know, I figure something out. And we have the Fire Tiger Booyah Pond Magic, a little micro finesse spinnerbait with a single Colorado chartreuse. Again, I have the little single tail grub on there, the pumpkin chartreuse color. So muddy water situation you get into, I want to be throwing this guy. And clear water, it's already tied on the rod, is another Booyah Pond Magic, but it's just like a nice shad presentation with the blue pearl black pepper flake in there. This thing's great. I've had some success fishing this. Moving on, I have the little Z-Man jig in here with a little TRD bug on it. These guys are awesome for if you're really needing to break down an area and fish around those rocks. I always switch over to a jig just to slow down, and you know, because they'll be hid up in them little rock crevices where you wouldn't even think they could get. And sometimes just swimming a swim bait like this over it, or swimming a spinner bait over top of it isn't enough. Sometimes you got to really break it down and try to get that jig in there right in front of their face and to get them to eat. But here I just have a couple of pre-rigged. This is the 2.8 Kitech in that sungill color. I'm pretty sure is what it is, but in the sungill color on a little guppy head. I believe this is a 1/8 ounce guppy head. And then again, the bass dirty jigs, the dirty jigs underspin head. I believe this is 1/8 ounce too, with a little 2.8 Kitech on it. Just they're rigged up in there ready to tie on, so I don't have to do a whole lot of extra work. But for now, that is all that's in the 3600 box. Again, this is going to keep growing, but as I figure new techniques out and other things that work and get confidence in other things, you know, this box will change and grow over time. So now we are down to the meat and potatoes of the operation. The Dobyns Sierra Ultra Finesse. It's the 700. This thing has been awesome. I know in the last video I did break the tip on it, guys. It was totally user error. I'm the world's worst about rods and breaking rods, so it happens. I've got the worst luck with that. Just something crazy happened when I went to cast the whopper plopper and broke the tip of the rod. I have no idea, but it happened. And the nice thing is the Dobyns has a really nice warranty. Called up my local tackle shop where I got these, and they've already got one coming in. It'll be in probably next week, and for 60 bucks I can go and swap it out. Really, I can take and pay them 60 bucks and swap it out with any Sierra rod that they have there. So I mean, if I did want to change the rod out, I could break it and take it down there from the 60 bucks and swap it out for, say, the 701. You know, so Dobyns seems to have a pretty nice little warranty system set up. But specs on this is 7 foot, 2 to 8 pound line, 1/16 to 5/16 ounce lure rating, light mod action, extra fast tip. So I have noticed that this thing's got a really nice tip for throwing those ultralight lures, but when you hook into a fish, you know, it does bend into way down into the blank. It loads up nice, so it works out great for those little treble hook presentations. Keeps them pinned. I've not had any fish come off when I'm fishing with you know, those whopper ploppers or any kind of treble hooks, but I've also had enough backbone to fish the jigs and fish the little spinner baits, the single hook presentations. I've not had any trouble setting the hook and getting hook penetration on the fish. It's just been a good all-around rod so far. I would like to try the 701 just to see, because sometimes, I mean, it does set the hook good with a single hook, but I do feel like it would be nice to have a little extra power. But it's not necessary. I mean, if you're looking for a good all-around BFS setup for fishing a creek, go down there and get the 700. It's going to do everything fairly well, and you won't be disappointed. For the reel on here, it's the Corrado BFS. It's a classic. People's done tons of reviews on these, but I've been impressed, guys. It's like I said, there's not much you can say. It's done everything I've needed it to do. It casts like a dream. You know, I've not trying to throw anything crazy light. That's not what my goal was. I mean, the bottom end of what I'm throwing is going to be 1/16, and if I want to go any less than that, then I'm going to get an ultralight spinning setup. That's just how it is. I really wanted this to throw the Ned rigs, throw these little, you know, micro creek baits. It was never my goal to do like ultra finesse lightweight fishing. So this has been working out perfectly for me. So I've got this spooled up with the 8-pound Suffix 832 braid. I was a little hesitant to get the cheaper braid, but it's worked out great. I was wanting the Suffix 131, but I could not find it in anything less than 10 pound where I was looking, and I definitely wanted to be under that mark, so I went with the 832 8-pound, and it's been functioning great. I might upgrade the line just to see if I get any extra casting distance out of it, or if it really makes that big of a difference at all. But for now, I mean, I've been happy with it, and I don't really see where it's really worth spending like the extra 15 bucks it is to get into the 131 over just running the 832, at least not for what I'm doing. And then you have this is an 8-pound leader on here right now. It's just the Seagar Invisex fluorocarbon 8-pound leader. I tie all my leader knots. I use the blood knot. It's just one I know to tie. It's easy to tie. It's fast. You can tie it on the water, and it's super. Let me see if I can get it over here. It is super slim. It's a super small knot, so it comes through the guides very easily. It doesn't get hung up, and if you tie it right, it's not going to fail on you. I mean, I've only had one fail once or twice, and it's just because, you know, I didn't get it tied right. It's something, you can still mess it up if you're not really paying attention and go to cinch it down and you don't cinch it down properly. But once you master it, it's an amazingly strong knot, super small, and yeah, I probably won't ever tie another knot for my leaders. Always going to be the blood knot. So you guys, that's pretty much it. That's a rundown on what I carry for the creek right now. Try to keep it as light and simple as possible, especially when you're wading and you're in the water. It's kind of hard sometimes to get your bag around. That's what I like about this, is the sling style bag, is I can be in the water, flip it around here, get in to get whatever it is I need, and I can even kind of use the bag to kind of hold it in place while I'm digging through here and swapping out lures. So the main goal is always keep it as light as possible, keep it as efficient as possible, and do whatever you can do to make your day on the water easier. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you today. If you like the video and want to see more stuff like this, I'd love to do it. Just let me know down in the comments. I have another little rod and reel I can do a review on. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one.